Hollywood legend Robert Redford is almost 90. And now, Robert Redford is saying goodbye. His life has been nothing short of a roller coaster, filled with early struggles like polio, the heartbreaking loss of loved ones, and countless personal challenges. From the heights of Hollywood fame to the depths of personal sorrow, Redford's story is a journey of heartache and triumph.
I never had that option when I first started. I didn't choose the roles. I certainly didn't cast myself, otherwise my career would have started a lot longer.
Actor Robert Redford announced that he's ready to stop acting. He told Entertainment Weekly his new movie, titled The Old Man and the Gun, will be his last.
His name was Jeremiah Johnson.
I know who you are. He's a man the Indians prayed to.
Why are you so fanciful? Why do you make everything seem so special?
I love comedy, and I did comedy in the theater.
Let's find me prom queen.
Robert Redford's childhood was far from easy. At the age of 11, he woke up one morning unable to move his limbs, and his eyelids were crusted shut. It took weeks before doctors diagnosed him with polio, a crippling disease that was rampant in the 1940s. Though his case was mild, it left him bedridden for 2 weeks, a frightening experience for any child. This early brush with serious illness left a lasting mark on him, teaching him about resilience and the unpredictability of life. Growing up in Los Angeles, Redford faced another significant challenge, the loss of his uncle David. David was more than just an uncle. He was a father figure to young Robert. David's influence was immense. He was a talented football player, fluent in 4 languages, and served in the U.S. military during World War II. David spent quality time with Robert, playing sports and fostering his love for movies. These moments left a lasting impression on Redford, shaping his interests and character. Tragically, David's life was cut short in the Battle of the Bulge in 1945. He was killed by snapper fire while on a secret mission in Germany. The news reached the Redford family a week later, and young Robert was pulled out of school to hear the heartbreaking details. This loss hit him hard, forcing him to confront the harsh realities of life and death at a very young age. Despite these early hardships, Redford's resilience began to show. His family's patient approach to grief meant they didn't discuss their emotions openly. They simply accepted things as they were and moved forward. This upbringing instilled in Redford a quiet strength and determination to face life's challenges head-on. Redford's father, Charles, was also a significant influence. Working long hours as an accountant for Standard Oil, Charles provided for the family during the tough times of the Great Depression. However, his demanding job meant he was often absent, leaving David to fill in the role of a surrogate father. This dynamic added another layer of complexity to Robert's upbringing, teaching him self-reliance and the importance of familial bonds. In addition to these personal struggles, Redford faced social challenges. Growing up in a racially tense era, he witnessed and experienced the prejudices of the time. These experiences further shaped his worldview, fostering a deep sense of justice and empathy that would later influence his activism and choice of film roles. But that's just the beginning of Redford's story. Wait till you hear about his rebellious teenage years. As Robert Redford moved into his teenage years, the struggles he faced in childhood took on some new forms. Growing up in Southern California, he found himself caught in the middle of gang conflicts and dangerous dares. The racial tensions of the time created a volatile environment, and young Robert had to navigate these treacherous waters with caution. One of the defining moments of his teenage rebellion was his involvement in a local gang. Seeking acceptance and trying to prove his toughness, Robert engaged in risky behavior. The gang life brought him face-to-face with constant danger and forced him to grow up quickly. These experiences left him with a deep understanding of fear and courage, lessons that would serve him well in his future career. The most severe of these experiences was a dare that almost cost him his life. In an attempt to prove his bravery to his peers, Robert agreed to jump off the roof of a building. The jump was meant to showcase his toughness, but it turned into a life-threatening ordeal. He narrowly avoided serious injury, but the incident left a lasting impact on him. This near-death experience was a turning point for Robert. It made him realize the fragility of life and the importance of making better choices. Now, despite his rebellious nature, he began to understand the value of caution and the need to steer his life in a more positive direction. At the same time, Robert's artistic inclinations were beginning to emerge. He found solace in painting and drawing, using these creative outlets as ways to express himself and cope with the chaos surrounding him. This budding interest in the arts would eventually lead him to pursue a career in acting. The tension between his rebellious streak and his growing artistic passions created a complex dynamic in Robert's life. On the one hand, he was drawn to the excitement and danger of his gang activities, and on the other, he yearned for a more meaningful and creative existence. This internal struggle would continue to shape his decisions and ultimately guide him towards his true calling. You won't believe what happened next when he dropped out of college. After surviving his teenage years, Robert Redford aimed to start afresh. He enrolled at the University of Colorado on a baseball scholarship, hoping to find a new path. However, his struggles were far from over. The freedom of college life introduced him to a world of excessive drinking and partying. Robert quickly fell into some bad habits, prioritizing alcohol and pranks over his studies. His behavior soon caught up with him. Redford was expelled from the university after just 18 months. Losing his scholarship was a significant blow, and it seemed his future was uncertain. This period was marked by a sense of failure and disappointment, both from himself and those around him. However, this low point also became a turning point. Redford's interest in the arts, which had been a quiet passion during his rebellious years, began to take center stage. He moved to Europe, spending time in Paris and Florence, where he immersed himself in painting. The experience was transformative, giving him a new perspective on life and his abilities. Upon returning to the United States, Redford decided to pursue acting. He enrolled in the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York City, taking his first steps into a world that would eventually bring him fame. The decision wasn't easy. He faced skepticism and doubt from many, including himself. But his determination to succeed and his love for storytelling kept him going. His early career was a mix of struggle and small victories. Redford took on various odd jobs to support himself while auditioning for roles. He appeared in minor television roles, slowly building his experience and reputation. His big break came from the Broadway production of Barefoot in the Park, where he played the leading role. The success of the play opened doors for him in Hollywood. Transitioning to film, Redford's natural talent and strikingly good looks quickly made him a standout. He gained attention with movies like Inside Daisy Clover and This Property is Condemned, both of which showcased his range and depth as an actor. Despite his growing fame, Redford remained grounded, always striving to improve his craft. Redford's journey to Hollywood stardom was just getting started. Robert Redford's rise to fame in Hollywood was marked by a series of iconic roles that cemented his status as a leading man. One of the pivotal moments in his career came with the film Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid in 1969. Starring alongside Paul Newman, Redford played the role of the Sundance Kid, a charming outlaw. The film was a massive success, becoming a cultural phenomenon and one of the highest-grossing movies of its time. The chemistry between Redford and Newman was undeniable. Their collaboration not only made Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid a classic, but also led to another major hit, The Sting, in 1973. This film, which again paired Redford and Newman, won 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. Redford's portrayal of the cunning con man Johnny Hooker showcased his versatility and further solidified his place in Hollywood. Redford and Newman's friendship extended beyond their on-screen roles. They shared a deep bond that was built on mutual respect and camaraderie. Their playful antics off-screen, including practical jokes and shared hobbies, added a layer of authenticity to their performances. This friendship became one of their most beloved partnerships in Hollywood history. Redford's success continued with a string of notable films. In 1972, he starred in Jeremiah Johnson, a film about a mountain man seeking solitude in the wilderness. This role highlighted his ability to bring depth and nuance to complex characters. Another significant film was The Way We Were in 1973, where he starred opposite Barbra Streisand. The romantic drama showcased Redford's softer side and was a box office hit. Throughout the 1970s, Redford continued to take on diverse roles, each adding to his reputation as a versatile and talented actor. He wasn't just a handsome face. His performances were layered and compelling. This era also saw him venturing into directing, with his directorial debut in the film Ordinary People in 1980, which won 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director. Despite the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, Redford's journey was not without personal challenges. The pressures of fame and the demands of his career often took a toll on his personal life. He faced numerous struggles and tragedies, which he navigated with the same resilience that had defined his earlier years. Behind the glitz and glamour, Redford faced personal tragedies. Despite his professional success, Robert Redford's personal life was marked by profound tragedies. One of the most significant losses he experienced was the death of his mother, Martha. She passed away when Redford was just 18 years old. Her death was a crushing blow that left a deep void in his life. Martha had been a supportive and loving presence, encouraging his early artistic interests despite the family's hardships. The loss of his mother came at a crucial time in Redford's young adulthood. He was grappling with his own identity and future, and her absence left him feeling adrift. This tragedy, coupled with his struggles in college and his subsequent expulsion, made for a tumultuous period in his life. However, it also fueled his determination to succeed and honor her memory by pursuing his passions. Another devastating loss was the death of his son, Scott. Born prematurely in 1959, Scott faced numerous health challenges from the beginning. Tragically, he succumbed to sudden infant death syndrome, or SIDS, just 2 months later. The loss of a child is an unimaginable pain, and for Redford and his then-wife Lola, it was a heartbreaking and traumatic experience. Scott's death had a profound impact on Redford, and it was a pain that never fully went away, influencing his perspective on life and deepening his sense of empathy. He rarely spoke publicly about the loss, preferring to keep his grief private. However, those close to him knew that this tragedy shaped much of his emotional landscape and his approach to life and work. These personal losses were compounded by other family tragedies, creating a narrative of resilience and strength in the face of adversity. Redford's ability to channel his grief into his art and activism became a testament to his character. His roles often reflected the depth of his experiences, resonating with audiences on a profound level. And the heartbreak didn't stop there, as more family tragedies followed. Robert Redford's family life continued to be marked by significant challenges. One of the most harrowing experiences was the ongoing health battles of his son, Jamie. Born 7 weeks premature in 1962, Jamie faced severe respiratory issues from the start. As he grew older, he was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, a chronic condition that causes inflammation of the colon. This led to serious complications, including cirrhosis of the liver. In 1993, Jamie underwent a liver transplant, a procedure that was both life-saving and incredibly taxing for the family. The initial relief was short-lived, as Jamie required a second liver transplant due to further complications. Redford described the period as the worst 12 weeks of their lives, balancing his career and constant trips to be by his son's side. Despite these challenges, Jamie's resilience shone through. He not only survived, but thrived, going on to become a successful filmmaker and advocate for organ donation. Jamie founded the James Redford Institute for Transplant Awareness, helping to educate and support others facing similar health issues. Tragically, Jamie's battle with liver disease ended in 2020 when he passed away at the age of 58 from bile duct cancer. His death was another profound loss for the Redford family. Meanwhile, Redford's daughter, Shauna, faced her own set of challenges. In the early 1980s, while attending the University of Colorado, she was engaged to Sid Wells, a journalism student. In 1983, Sid was found dead from a gunshot wound, with his roommate Thane Smitka being the prime suspect. Despite the arrest, the lack of evidence led to Smitka's release, and he vanished, leaving the case unsolved. Shauna's life was further endangered in 1984 when she lost control of her car and plunged into the icy Jordan River near Salt Lake City. Miraculously, a local hero rescued her from the freezing water. The incident, coupled with the murder of her fiancé, left deep emotional scars. Redford, deeply affected by his daughter's trauma, remained a pillar of support, emphasizing the importance of family bonds during such trying times. These experiences underscored the strength and resilience of the Redford family. Despite the relentless hardships, they continued to support each other and find ways to turn their pain into purpose. Redford's ability to remain grounded and use his platform for positive change is a testament to his character. Yet Redford's strength in the face of hardship is truly inspiring. In his later years, Robert Redford turned his attention to causes close to his heart. He became a passionate advocate for environmental protection, using his influence to raise awareness about the importance of preserving natural landscapes. His commitment to the environment is well known, and he's worked tirelessly to support various conservation efforts. One of Redford's most significant contributions was the founding of the Sundance Institute in 1981. Named after his iconic role in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, the Institute aims to support independent filmmakers. Through the Sundance Film Festival, it's become a premier platform for new and innovative films, helping countless artists gain recognition and launch their careers. Redford's dedication to independent film is not just about providing a platform, but also about fostering a community of creative minds. He's always believed in the power of storytelling to affect change and inspire people. The Sundance Institute embodies this belief, encouraging filmmakers to explore new ideas and challenge conventional narratives. Reflecting on his career, Redford sees his work with the Sundance Institute as one of his proudest achievements. He's received numerous awards and accolades, but his greatest satisfaction comes from knowing that he's made a difference in the lives of many aspiring filmmakers. His impact on the industry is profound, and his legacy continues to inspire new generations of artists. Redford's environmental activism and support for independent film has cemented his status as not just a Hollywood icon, but also a visionary leader. He has shown that success can be used for the greater good, and his life's work is a testament to his enduring values and commitment to making the world a better place. As he nears 90, how does Robert Redford spend his days? Today, Robert Redford enjoys a quieter life on a sprawling Utah ranch with his second wife, Sybil Zaggers. The scenic beauty of his surroundings offers a peaceful retreat from the hustle and bustle of Hollywood. Redford has always cherished nature, and his ranch is the perfect place for him to reflect and enjoy a slower pace of life. Redford's perspective on aging is one of acceptance and gratitude. Nearing 90, he acknowledges the inevitable changes that come with age, but embraces them with grace. He remains active, engaging in various creative and environmental projects. His work continues to inspire, demonstrating that passion and purpose don't fade with time. His legacy in Hollywood and beyond is vast. Redford is not just remembered for his iconic roles and directing achievements, but also for his significant contributions to independent film and environmental causes. The Sundance Institute and Film Festival stand as a lasting testament to his dedication to nurturing new talent and promoting innovative storytelling. Redford's influence extends beyond the screen. His advocacy for the environment has made a real impact, raising awareness and inspiring action to protect natural landscapes. He's shown that a celebrity's voice can be a powerful tool for change, using his platform to support important causes. Despite his fame, Redford remains humble about his accomplishments. He values the journey and the lessons learned along the way, always focusing on the bigger picture rather than the accolades. His story is one of resilience, creativity, and unwavering commitment to his principles. Before we wrap up, let's take a final look at what makes Robert Redford's story so compelling. Robert Redford's life is a story of strength, passion, and enduring talent. From his early struggles to his lasting legacy, he's inspired many with his journey. If you've enjoyed this look into his incredible story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out our other videos on Hollywood legends. Thank you for watching.